Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the leader of the Cult of Bast. The following presentation by the Black Comic Lords has the seal of approval of the Cult of Bast. Amandla, Wakanda Forever, and enjoy the show.
Hey yo, what's good?
What's good?
All
Shout
right,
out
going
to
on. Good,
Blizzard on the intro. Love those beats.
good evening, everyone. Good evening, good night, good morning, good day, whatever time you're watching this. It's Real Talk with Rich, and tonight we have a special edition of the show. We are doing a roundtable, and that roundtable is going to surround the movie Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And so we brought in a couple of OGs, Black Panther rabid fans, if you will, uh, dope collectors. First, I want to shout out to my man Otis Black Lion Otterberry, who's with us. He was hanging out in Disneyland right now, and but he's from Buffalo, New York. And we got the DJ Big Phil in the building from Pennsylvania. Shout out to them Steelers. Did y'all win today?
No, we did not.
Trolling. Trolling.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. At least y'all got a few Super Bowl rings. Y'all got still bragging rights. So that's what's up. But we got DJ Phil in the building. And so, fellas, and of course I got the OG, the Chief Don Dada, Black Comic Lords, Paul in the building with me too. Want to ask my guests and my brothers, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for this show. It's about to be history in the making, and I'm glad to be able to share my opinions with my brothers. And I'm just ready to hear what everybody else has to say as well. To be honest with you,
that's what's up. What's up?
I'm just happy to be here, man. I mean,
yes.
I don't even know why I'm here, but you know, y'all are cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm better than I deserve. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm better than I deserve. So anytime I'm able to chop it up with these gentlemen, hang out with my brother and talk comics and you know, everything that surrounds this fandom, yeah, life is real, real good. So we don't want to delay the time. We want to just get into this. First of all, I just want to ask everyone of their fundamental thoughts about the movie itself without getting into it, just our thoughts about this movie. And since we have guests, Paul, we're going to ask our guests to first of all chime in. So Phil, Big Phil, bruh, come on with it. Just speak your piece on this. How you feeling about this movie, bro?
So, just to be honest, I'm excited about it, but I'm a little conflicted about it. I'll be honest. I was not a fan of the very first film. Um, I feel like, I grew up being a Black Panther fan before it was the cool thing to do. I got my love from the character from my dad. That's a whole nother conversation. But at the same time, I'm excited to see what they're going to do, but I'm also disappointed because of, the whole situation with not recasting. So I'm gonna go on there with an open heart, and we're going to see what happens.
That's what's up. Big O, what about you, my brother?
Well,
What's your thoughts about this movie, man?
um, I'm hyped for it. I'm amped.
Mm.
I'm excited. I've been excited since before the trailer, and y'all know my views. I'm, what I'm saying, I'm very 100% pro Wakanda Forever. Like, I'm excited about seeing the next chapter, what they're gonna do, who's gonna show up, how they're gonna build the world of Wakanda. Um, True, I do. I have feelings about no Black Panther per se being in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
T'Challa, but at the same time, there was a time when we read the books and T'Challa wasn't there. So you know what I'm saying? He was there, but he wasn't in the stories. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I dig it because they're just going the natural way. So I'm excited about it. I got my tickets. I'm putting together my outfit like Thanos with the Infinity Stones. You should see it, man. I'm telling you. Jacket. I got I already got my Kamoya beads. I got some Wakanda. Well, I just got to show you this. I bought these the other day. Some Wakanda Forever socks, yo, baby. I'm gonna
There we
I'm gonna be
go.
clean
There we
that day.
go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
clean that day. So I mean, needless to say, I am amped. I am amped for this movie.
And let me
Yes.
say this too. I think that's real. This is why O's my brother right there, man. And we've been talking about this back and forth for months. Now, as much as it doesn't sound like I'm excited, I already bought 10 tickets. I bought 10 tickets as soon as the time came up because I'm a completist. But I do that for all the Marvel films. And I like to take my family and friends out and I pay for everybody. But I'm supposed to actually go out of town that day. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to the next day because I'm not missing the premiere, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I'm excited.
That's
I'm
what's up.
excited, but I still feel the way I feel.
Yeah. Paul, the head of the cult of bass. Let's let's just come on. Let's just get this over with.
Man, look. I'll say this. My feelings on the recasting T'Challa is well documented. I'm not going to belabor the point. I will say that I'm excited.
But you need to let people know who may not have known. So let's go ahead and let's get it out.
I'll get to that. So here's the thing. I think it's important to support a film much like the first one that has this many Black people involved. Um, as Issa Rae says, I root for everybody Black. So when you have a Black director or Black producer, an all Black cast with Black characters of prominence in a film, we should support that, particularly when it's positive, which this is. So I will be there with my ticket in hand on opening day for that alone. That being said, um, if the leaks of what the film's plot is are accurate, and by all accounts it appears to be, I am not going to be happy after leaving the film. Although I'm sure it's going to be a great film. I expect nothing less from the talent that is pooled for this film. I expect it's going to be a good film. I do not agree with the choices made in the direction that they're going with T'Challa. I think it's a huge mistake for a multitude of reasons, which we may get into.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, now for me personally, I'm conflicted, like Phil said, in the sense that I was recast T'Challa, so we're not going to get that. So okay. Let's check off that box. That's not happening, Richie. My next issue is the cinematic show that we're going to get. I think it's going to be second to none. It's going to be a great film, period. I know that. But how many of us have ever got dressed up and was happy to go to a funeral?
Mm.
I'm not happy about that. in no stretch of the imagination. And this is a film. This is a film, and so um, I use that analogy because Marvel they leaned into our heartstrings with the first trailer they put out. They 90% of that trailer was a celebration of what we think perhaps was a funeral. Now we're not 100% sure that it was quote unquote a funeral, but this is black folk, and we either dress up in all white to have a jam or a funeral. So it's either or. That's just who we are. And so I'm not just thrilled about that. Now I will say this. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. He has put together a stellar cast. He has probably written a super dope story. I'm interested in this iteration of Namor. How they're gonna, deal with that. I've seen some of the later trailers that kind of give us a little bit of more action, and I am excited for that. So my initial thoughts of this film is I am gonna go see it like everybody else, but I'm gonna be like this most of the movie. I'm just keeping it a stack. That's just me. So we'll see. We'll see. And again, I mean, it's hard for me, brothers, because this is the first black superhero
Talk about it.
that the world has, on a commercial level, has seen.
Right.
A representation of manhood in the view of a nerd, if that makes any sense. We have real black heroes, so we're not starving for heroes. We have many. However, this is the first, and to see him kind of like exit stage left because of an unfortunate situation with the actor's health, and for them to say, like, you know what, we're just going to go in and we're just going to embrace this and expect us to swallow it like we do most times, which when it comes to things like trauma and pain. I don't know what it is about us, but that's just something we're addicted to.
Mm.
And I'll be honest, bro, I ain't looking forward to we're going to be in theaters filled with big boxes of popcorn and Kleenex. I'm like, the theater, all you go hear is a bunch of
Lord have mercy.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a literal petri dish. It's gonna be a COVID fest. Please wear your mask. That's all of us.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on that, I think that what happens is that, and this is important.
Yeah.
When we talk about the importance of who the character is and what the character meant, and we talk about symbols and we talk about this and whatever, for me,
Yes,
I almost felt disrespected with them not doing the recasting. And
for me, it's unambiguous. I definitely feel disrespect.
And it's just, I understand the whys, but at the same time, it's like, it's like in real life, at a particular point, you do have to move on. We have to do this, and you have to separate reality from fantasy at a particular point. No disrespect to the Chapman family, is a tragic situation, but T'Challa, the character, is still alive. Now, if they deal with the death in a certain way, here's the thing: if T'Challa gets sick in the movie, I'm walking out. I'm walking out. I'm knocking popcorn down. I'm kicking. I'm going to jail. We're not doing nothing crazy. Like if he goes out, it has to be a big action sequence, which we're not going to see because they already said we're not going to see him pass away. We're not seeing that. They already said that for whatever reason. But there needs to be something that is so dramatic that it's like, wow. Remember, this dude just came back from Endgame. Last time we seen him, it's Thanos. He's running with the gauntlet. Like, I need for this to make sense. I need for it to make sense. And on another note, it's just, I was talking to my girl about it. I'm trying to explain to him, like, yo, this is T'Challa for me. Like when I was a kid, of course it was Spider-Man and the Hulk, but it was also Black Panther. Literally, and it's just, I get it. It's not my decision to make, but it's just, as a fan, I'm disappointed, but I still bought 10 tickets.
Yeah, that's what's up. And at the end of the day, I think we're gonna have a good time. So, Paul, what were you saying?
I mean, we're like dancing around the issue. Here's the issue.
Man, did you say dilly dancing? Did you say dilly dancing?
No, I said we're dancing around the issue. The real issue is, they're killing T'Challa,
right,
in the movie,
right,
and it's unnecessary to do that.
Let's go.
It's one thing for the cast to say this is very emotional for us. We need to say goodbye to him in the film. There are easy ways they could do that.
Right.
You have this blip where he blipped away for 5 years. You've had Marvel properties in phase 4, the television shows on Disney Plus and the movies deal with the blip. They've had movies that took place during the blip. So it's not unheard of. An easy way to satisfy everybody is to simply say, yes, he died as a result of the blip. We're having a funeral to celebrate that. It gives the cast an opportunity to mourn his passing.
But he was literally there after the blip, so he didn't die after the blip.
No. I'm saying
during the blip,
the funeral that they're going to have could be for
during
him
the blip
after he blipped.
Okay, fair enough. That's
because he blipped. He's dead in their eyes for 5 years.
Right.
Have a funeral after that blip. Have the entire movie take place during the blip.
That's what I said.
They never actually showed Shuri blip out. They simply assumed she was gone. The Avengers simply assumed that she's gone. She's in this video. They could come up with some explanation that Shuri's not actually, she was never blipped. And have the movie proceed there. And have the entire film proceed there. Have Shuri become Black Panther. I have no problems with Shuri being Black Panther. And I hate the fact that this concept of recasting T'Challa is being couched in terms of, well, you just don't want to see a woman come up and have her place in her role. And no, it has nothing to do with if you're a Black Panther comic book collector, fan, and reader, you knew Shuri was going to get the mantle at some point. You knew it. They just moved the timetable up a film or two. That's fine. I had no problems with that. But when Shuri had the mantle, T'Challa wasn't dead. He doesn't have to die. So you basically are having this brother die in the film.
Okay,
you're basically having.
Go ahead, brother. Go on. It's all right. It's
take
your time, brother. Take your time.
Children that already mourned this brother's death 2 years ago have to watch it again on a film. Like, what is our obsession with this, man? I trip out when I go on Twitter and I see people say, I can't wait to see Wakanda Forever. I'm going to have my box of tissues. Like, who goes into a film saying, I can't wait to be made to cry? Why do we do that?
Paul, let me say this. And you kind of jumped ahead of that's kind of like the third.
Don't get me started, man.
But let me say this. I think that
I could have wrote a better script in a weekend.
If you go back to Endgame, right? There's a scene in Endgame where Okoye is talking to the Black Widow and others that are there
about the water.
Yeah, about the water. There's a eruption, earthquake or something. But she says that, and it's so casual in her saying this that I think that for them to kind of like introduce the blip concept would kind of be almost moot in a sense. And the reason why I say it like that is because if the world knows that T'Challa, quote unquote, is dead, what is her persona going to be like? Is it going to be the same? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm going to be honest with you. They did not, quote unquote, have anything on the slate in response to what was happening. They didn't know that Chadwick was dying.
Right.
That's why they had to rewrite the whole script. They had something totally different in mind. Now, you and I know Marvel does things in phases, right? Black Panther Wakanda Forever is the end of quote unquote phase 4. Problem with that is that I'm gonna be honest with you. The phase 4 has been a hiccup.
Trash.
Well, that
trash.
point.
Trash.
It's been a hiccup after hiccup after hiccup. So I just think that they were kind of like, you know what? We got to kind of end this, and this is the only way we can end this. We have to do it like this.
Let's look at what some of the people in the comments have said. You got Chad Kinsler, who just said it's a lot of people who are fans of the movie but have no connection to T'Challa in the comics. Well, yes, I agree. And I know for Marvel's sake, for Kevin Feige's sake, they're thinking big picture. We serve a larger community than these 4 brothers that like Black Panther.
For sure.
Right? Mm-hmm. They got to make money. But there's a way that that they could have done this film and served both sides. Again, there's no problems with not recasting for this film. There's no problems with that. You could say he died during have the whole, as I said, have the whole film take place during the blip. He's not there. That's fine. And then you could always recast him later on. But I don't know if we really want to get into this because I don't want to get into all the leaks and stuff about what
Paul, see the problem. Again, I just think that they didn't have nothing. They had no contingency plan, if that makes any sense.
The contingency plan is in the comics, dude. The contingency plan is in the comics. They could have done literally, if you're going to make sure Black Panther, the comic book itself tells you how you can do it, how you can have T'Challa off on the side. He's wiped out. He's comatose in a tube.
Kevin Feige is dancing to his own drum.
I don't think it was Kevin.
Kevin Feige is very much aware. Kevin Feige is very much aware what's in the comics and what's not in the comics. He's very much aware of that.
Well, the difference though with Black Panther 2, he gave Coogler and them carte blanche on what to do on this one. It's well documented that he said whatever y'all want to do.
Speak on it.
So the thing with Black Panther 2, I'm gonna be really quick with this. 2 is that he gave them carte blanche. He said, whatever y'all want to do, and it's well documented that he said whatever y'all want to do at this particular point, you can do that. Now, the danger and the good thing of that, it depends if you have a director or not. Here's the thing: I think Coogler's a really dope director. I think it's Fruitful Station. All other movies are really dope. But when you do superhero movies, there's certain nuances that you just have to get correct. You have to balance fan service, and you have to balance things to get people in the seats.
Right.
Black Adam did a very good job of fan service, accurate costumes, super action. Story could have been a little bit better, but et cetera. But we're moving on from that. But my issue with this, and I know we need to move on, is that I got a whole situation about the blip I can't talk about yet because I'm working on something. That's a whole nother situation. But they literally this movie should have been taking place during the blip. I have no issue. And one thing that you point out that was very intriguing is that in 2022, whenever you have I won't say a disagreement, but you have a totally different opinion, instead of somebody coming back with some knowledge or trying to debate that, they'll go into, oh, well, you don't like this or you must not like this. No, it's not about that. That's not the question. We all know that Shuri does become Black Panther for a moment. It's just a moment in time, and then we come back to wherever. I think having her as Black Panther can be dope if we do it right. I don't think any of us is debating whether or not the movies go. I think the second film And Marvel's second films tend to be a lot better than the first films. Captain America, then you got Civil War. I mean, not Civil War. It was a Winter Soldier. But I'm gonna be done. O's been real quiet, and we gonna let O say something in a second. But I just feel like I'm just really passionate about being upset about, and I'm literally upset about them not recasting because
Gotcha.
it's personal. It's
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah.
It feels, and that's the thing. It feels personal. So,
Feels personal.
it is what it is. We recognize that. Man, you said something just now, but about the second movie being better. The only one that I would disagree with is Thor: Dark World. That was trash.
I actually like Dark
But who's
World, but go ahead.
So you're
That
one of
was
those
trash.
5 people.
Yeah, you was one of the 5 people that enjoyed that. Okay, thank you. Look, we're going to transition and we're going to get to our next topic. But before we do, we're going to run a commercial break. We'll be right back, and don't go nowhere. Hit the like button too while we doing this. Don't forget, go to blackcomiclords.net. Get you some merch. That beautiful shirt that Paul has on, you can get that. That sticker that Tamiko just showed you, you can get that. You can get that on a shirt. You can get that on a mask. You can get that on a backpack. You can get that on a mug. You can get that on you can get that on anything. We got it for you. We got some heat for you. Go to our website, blackcomiclords.net. And check us out.
And we're back.
We are back. Yes. So, Black Comic Lords is a black comic book space. And what is a Wakanda Forever Roundtable with Black Comic Lords without talking about black comic books? So this is the segment, y'all, where we're going to talk about what from the comics we want to see in the movie. Okay? So, like I said, Big Phil said you've been kind of quiet, so let's jump into your thoughts in terms of what do you want to see from the comic books in the movie?
Here we go.
Okay.
Y'all about to be blessed right now.
For the help. Appreciate that.
Yes,
From
sir.
the comic books, I would like first, I would definitely like some Don McGregor, Billy Graham, Don McGregor action. Meaning, I need to see Wakanda's version of the Savage Lands. Even if I hear a dinosaur, even if I hear a dinosaur in the background and somebody go, "What is that?" And we don't talk about that right now. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Yes, sir.
I would love an Easter egg like that. I believe the Hatut Saraze is going to show up in this one. I believe that they're going to be the military police. I'm excited about seeing them show up. Hopefully, because to me they play a part. You got the Dora, you have them, and then they always, they're soldiers, so they follow what they're told to do, good, bad, or ugly. And the one thing about Wakanda that we didn't, we got a little bit of it in the first one, but the one thing about Wakanda is they always beefing. Like it's never really harmonious. There's always some sort of issue from Killmonger's village or Baku, in the inner circle in the Golden City. So the plot and the intrigue, I want to see that in the films. I want to see backstabbing, like when Maccabi, started rolling with Killmonger. That was beautiful because that's what happens in Wakanda.
Right.
So I'm expecting stuff like that.
They're warrior people, so
right.
that's
So
how
it's
they
like,
solve their
you're
political
not
disputes.
doing what you're supposed to do. We're gonna take care of that. So I'm looking forward to that, and I would like to see that from the comics. But just I'm a big Wakanda fan. Not just T'Challa, but like Wakanda, everything about Wakanda. That's what I want to see. I want to see them talk about the Hyena clan. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody talks about them. I think that they're so dope because they're scavengers and they put together whatever they find and make something out of it. Like, I think that they should be, not highlighted, but shown a little bit more. Like I said, Savage Lands with the dinosaurs. Like, Wakanda is such a big place. Necropolis. Come on, man. That's what I want to see. I want to see the City of the Dead, Necropolis, which I personally think that's what that whole performance with the white. I think that's where they are. But I won't get into that if we're not supposed to get into that.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
But I think Necropolis is going to get introduced, and the reason why is because the resurrection altar is there.
Right.
Okay. And I know. Here we go. I know a lot of people are upset about the no recast. They're going to do it. They just can't do it now. And the reason why they can't do it now is because for several reasons. One, it's still fresh. Now, I understand Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa are two different people. I get that. But as we spoke before, last time I was on with you gentlemen, when has real life in the comic book world / movies, MCU, ever truly met like that? Whereas something real happens that not only affects you, but actually affects I want to say property, but the entity of, Black Panther. Like, never has something like that happened. So this is something new. This is something new. So I really can't get mad at them for not recasting, because as well as I do, as much Black Panther merch that's out there, as popular as the character has gotten, there is no way that they can get rid of him and just put him on the shelf permanently. No. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Please.
There's no way that they can put him on the shelf permanently because of his popularity, because of how much money is being made. Do you know how much stuff I've seen since I've been here related to Wakanda, T'Challa, the movie? They're not giving up on him. They're just giving you little piecemeal. Like I said before, hadn't you noticed that they're reprinting every Black Panther story? Every Black Panther story from the beginning up until one of my favorite runs, the Coach run. You know what I'm saying? They're reprinting all of that. And what they're doing is they're giving you these great stories to keep you satisfied.
Because
until it's time for him.
Comic book is trash.
I'm going there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And quiet as kept. Not quiet as kept. I'm a fan of it. I dig it. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. They just want you to they're putting all of the stories out because they want you to hold on to those stories and not necessarily forget him. But he's going to be gone for a little while. And they're going to bring him back. There's going to be another Black Panther 1. You know that. The movie made so much money. In this movie, I mean, I got my my theories on that, the whole thing with them putting up against Avatar and all that other garbage. But they know that people are going to show up for this movie. Even people, and I'm saying this in the camera, even people who have been talking garbage about this movie since before the trailer, y'all going to go watch it too. And you can say, well, I'll wait for Disney Plus. You're still going to watch it. Or you're going to watch it and you're not going to let anybody know. That's fine. It's cool. You want to know why you're going to watch it? Because you're a fan. Because you're a fan, and this is the first time, well, second movie that has to do with Black Panther, with Wakanda. So you're gonna go watch it, and it's cool. It's okay. Even if you go in there, like Rich said, mad, snot, popcorn, all that, you're still gonna go, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. I just, I have hopes, and I don't give up on my heroes. I don't care if they're floating in space, being the new Star-Lord. I don't care if he's moping on the side of the mountain, trying to figure out what's going on with himself. I don't care if it's Marauders 13 and he gives up that sword to his girl.
Hey. I got to draw the line in mentioning Marauders 13.
That is my man. It don't matter to me.
We don't talk about Marauders 13.
No, I talk about Marauders 13. Okay? That is my man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Good, bad, or ugly. That's my character. So that's what I'm saying. So I'll let y'all get. I got more, but I'll let y'all go.
I got you.
Go ahead.
You know what? I can't do nothing but.
Hold on. I gotta say something.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna just say this: that I really salute you as a Black Panther fan, because you named a lot of stuff in those runs that has this character, either he's on the mountaintop or he's in the valley somewhere, and that's just the hero's journey. So we have to salute that.
Right.
And here's the thing too. I wanted to just ask this question of all you guys. You brought up Don McGregor's run, which is a jungle action run, right? Do you guys think? I'm just asking the question. This is just a fan question, comic book fan question. How would you guys feel if they did another Black Panther run in the Savage Land? You think it would work in 2023 or 2022?
Oh, absolutely.
It's the greatest Black Panther run of all time.
Damn Jurassic Park movies are.
Man,
imagine Jurassic Park with all black people with spaceships flying around and stuff.
I'll be honest with you, Paul. With that particular iteration, I wouldn't want it live action. Give me all animation.
Yeah.
Give me all animation.
We got the technology to do that. Bro.
So
give me all animation, bro. I'd make a phone call to Pixar, bro. Can you put a big Tyrannosaurus Rex and T'Challa in the same movie?
Listen, to Otis's point, there is. I love the fact that the storyline that he wants is the volume of Black Panther and Wakanda that he wants is the Don McGregor, Billy Graham. That's the jungle action run.
Mm-hmm.
That jungle action run,
greatest run ever,
had so much. Arguably, it may be one of the greatest runs ever.
Greatest run.
If it's not, if it may not be number one, but there's certainly a
top five. Top five. Least, it's not even top five.
It's top three.
It's definitely the greatest Black Panther run. It's definitely the greatest Black Panther run. That's not even up for debate.
I mean, in terms of world building, Don McGregor was the first one to sort of develop what Wakanda was. And, when you talk about that run was so brilliant. You had the Savage Land equivalent in Wakanda with dinosaurs. You had your whole undead mystics, sorcery, Halloween type stuff in that run. You had political intrigue in that run. And then that's just on top of the whole superheroics that was going on. Wakanda's a fascinating place. I mean, they put maps in the backs of the comic books so you could break down all the places they were checking out and exploring. So that, in that respect, I mean, that's one of the things that Disney mentioned is that they might do a Wakanda television series. I was excited for that because doing a television show exploring just Wakanda would be dope. I hope
I
they
mean,
show a lot
let me
more
ask you
of
guys.
Wakanda in the story now that they're not going to have T'Challa in it.
I got a book to show you.
Oh,
This book here. This book here.
you better not show me no
Tales
trade
of Wakanda.
paperback.
No. This is the book. This is the Marvel book. The Tales of Wakanda. Have you guys read this book? Let me just
I saw
ask.
that.
Have y'all read it?
I haven't.
I'm not
I haven't
talking about
read it
you
yet.
got it at the house. I need you to know that you've read it. And
No,
the
I
reason why
haven't-
I'm
I
saying
haven't read
that
it.
is because the reason why I'm saying is because there's like 18 different authors that take shots at their thoughts as to what Wakanda would be, what Black Panther would be, their interpretation. Whether we talking about Queen Divine Justice, the White Wolf, all kind of different iterations, different thoughts. You should get this. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not comic book. It's just regular Wakanda stories. You need to get this. So, but to your point, Paul.
Speaking of Queen Divine Justice, I really think about it. Where was Queen Divine? Otis is going to know the answer to this question. Otis, where was Queen Divine Justice from?
Where's she from?
Yeah.
Well, she was a Dora in training. She was supposed to be,
Well,
but she's from Jabari. She's Jabari.
What city of the United States is she from?
United States.
Where in the U.S. is she from? What city? Where they pluck her from?
Oh, bro, you got me out there.
He about to
Got
say
me out
Buffalo.
there. No, he said Buffalo.
New York.
I know this. I know this. I can see the panel in my head. I know this.
Chicago.
Where's Riri Williams from?
I don't read Riri.
Chi-Town.
She's from Chicago.
Okay.
That's where Queen Divine Justice is from Chicago. So I think they may. What I would think would be dope is if they're not going to out and out put Queen Divine Justice in the movie, merge those two characters together, because that's MCU does stuff like that all the time. They take two characters and put their stories together. And what if Riri Williams is actually, because Queen Divine Justice, although she lived in Chicago, she was a descendant of the Jabari tribe, right?
Right.
So what if Riri Williams is actually like a descendant of the Jabari tribe?
I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to make Riri Williams be somebody who either was from the school at the end when they talk about building the school, or she's going to possibly, and this would make the audience go crazy. You know, somebody that benefited from Starks when he gave all those people that money and people. I forget which film that was.
Is MIT.
MIT. So I think that would be, and I'm thinking this is not going to happen. I'm thinking that her artificial intelligence should be Robert Downey Jr. should be Stark in her artificial intelligence, like how he had artificial intelligence in his helmet. It should be Robert Downey Jr.'s voice.
Can they afford Robert Downey Jr. to do the voiceover for AI in the movie?
Marvel got infinity money.
It's not like they can. I'll say it like they even get somebody to sound kind of like the guy. If they get the
right,
guy,
we ain't gonna do that. We got to get.
That's what I was.
I hope not. I would hope not, Phil. But I'm just saying.
No facsimiles, huh, Phil?
No, I mean, like even in the one Spider-Man film when Peter put the glasses on.
Austin Crafton asked, "How does the family feel about Peter Gill's Black Panther run?" Peter Gills.
When did Peter Gills write Black Panther?
I have no idea who Peter Gills is.
This is the wrong conversation to be wrong about Black Panther runs.
Yeah,
this ain't the right one.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
This ain't the right one, man.
I don't know. That's we need some. Also, we need some more clarity as to who you talking about in terms of that.
So
run.
before we answer that question,
there's Jonathan Mayberry. There's Don McGregor. There's Evan Narcisse. There's Ta-Nehisi Coates. There's John Ridley, Paul's favorite writer. There hasn't really been a whole lot of number of guys to write Black Panther, but
Gillis, nah.
Let me say this. Go ahead, Pete. I mean, go ahead.
I want to go into, because I know Brother O just went into. You went to what you wanted to see in the film, right? The comics stuff that you wanted in the film, correct?
Yeah, some of it. Yeah, some of it.
The one thing I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to go off subject. The one thing that I really want to see in this film is that they need to get Submariner right. I don't want Submariner to be this individual who's into debating and politics and trying to show love and happy and get into a happy medium. Like Prince Namor, not Namor or whatever ridiculous pronunciation they made. He's been Submariner since we've been a kid, and he's been Prince Namor since we've been a kid. He needs to be arrogant, he needs to be headstrong, and he needs to be powerful. I don't want him.
I think we get that, bro. I think we getting that, Phil. You don't think we getting that?
I'm not sure. Like I'm not sure. I mean, they've already made his skin made out of vibranium.
Well,
I mean, Phil, that sounds like a toxic masculine character.
That's so. No, I don't think he's toxic masculine. I just think he's somebody who knows what he's doing. He is. He's somebody who knows what he's. I mean, this is just who he is. This is what his world is, and it's just he doesn't feel like he needs to debate with surface dwellers because of what they've done to the ocean. So I mean, that's where he looks at they're beneath him.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick. H&H comment says Peter Gill's The Run is the 4-part limited 1988 series.
Volume 2 of Black Panther.
Oh, Flag. Was it the Flag of the Fathers? Oh no.
Okay.
It's the 4-issue run that was drawn by Dennis Cowan. It's volume 2.
Yeah.
With the green eyes.
He had the colored eyes and fought against Bast. That was a male Bast.
And that's that's funny too, because that's, as far as Dennis Cowan goes, that's like classic. We should know that.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think it's dope. I mean, I'm saying
you gotta curl your muscle
your question
like that, bro. 9.8.
But to get to your question, Phil, about Namor,
I ain't mad at you, bro. I ain't mad at you.
That's funny. Namor is recorded in some of the, not leaks, but in trailers. He's saying he's asking Queen Ramonda, are you with us?
No, that's no. He says no. That's not what he says. He says,
all right.
He says, are you an ally? Now, my issue with that is somebody who's in the films and making films. You've already gave it up that there is somebody else that's at play here. So
of course.
So what's going to happen is now this isn't going to be about these two fighting. This is going to be about the African Americans and Aztecs getting together. And come on, we know what this is going to be. I believe that the Namor conflict.
It's low hanging fruit, bro. I get it. It is.
The Namor conflict is going to happen in the very beginning. I don't believe that's going to be the main meat. And if they do that, I'll be happy. I think they're going to deal with this funeral. And it's going to be my only issue is that I already know that they're going to make the Black Panther funeral almost like we're at Chadwick's, and I have an issue with that, but that's a whole other story.
That's not a whole other story, brother. That's what we're here to talk about.
I don't like that.
I have problems with that too.
I have issues with that because I've seen people come out talking about that they felt like, and I quote, that every time they talked about T'Challa in the film, that they were talking about Chadwick.
Right.
And I get it, and I'm not trying to sound insensitive by any stretch of the imagination. So here's the issue. The Black Panther film, no matter what, people are going to have a hard time critiquing the film on merits that may not make it a great film. And I think it's going to be an excellent film. But if there's going to be parts, we're going to have to do all these disclaimers because of everything behind it in the climate that we're in right now. Just being honest. And to me,
that's the problem.
And me, I'm gonna speak my mind. I don't give a damn how anybody thinks about it. At the end of the day, I want to see a great film. That's all I want to see. This is my favorite character. I want to see a great film. I think we're going to see a great film. I think it's a tragedy on how we're doing this, but we're going to move forward. But I don't want this to be a pseudo funeral. We're not doing that. I don't want to do that. But back to Namor. Let's go back to Namor. I just want Namor to be powerful. I'll tell you what though, the one thing they got right were those wings on his feet.
Yeah,
I almost lost my mind when I seen that. I threw my remote at the television. and he better say Imperious Rex, and he better
at some point
when he says it. He better mean it. I don't like all the jewelry and all that. I don't like the fact that he doesn't have the haircut. He doesn't have the the
Yeah.
eyebrows. Let me
Yeah.
stop.
I
I'm
mean,
be
bro.
Yo,
I mean,
H&H says don't get arrested when that funeral happens.
listen.
that's right.
Listen. I'm gonna be in there too. I'm gonna be halfway sensitive. You know what I mean? Like, man, it's deep, man. Okay, but I still, at the end of the day, I just need it to be great. I want to see great action scenes. I want to see great action scenes. Black Panther 1 suffered from terrible fight choreography. We
Yes.
need great. We can't have the Dora Milaje and
I need a dude. I need a dude who did the fight choreography for Captain America: Winter Soldier to be the choreographer on this film, or
or
Shang-Chi,
Well,
or
or
Daredevil.
Daredevil. There
I
we go.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, listen, guys. I think that we're going to get a little bit of all of that, but let me just share what I want to see from the comics in this movie. What I want to see in the comics in this movie stems from the Doom War run.
Uh-oh. We're gonna bring
I need to
Deadpool in here.
see.
You stole my
I
thunder.
know. I need Shuri. I need that iteration of Shuri in this movie
Right.
because Shuri that was in that run was deadly,
Yeah,
and I just
that's
don't
not
know
where
if
we get
Letitia.
to.
I, but I don't. I was going to say I don't know if Letitia Wright has that energy to do that because if you remember the Doom War run, T'Challa he would be there. T'Challa would be actually in the film. Shuri would have the mantle. This is where you could have everybody have the best of both worlds. But
Can I
Shuri,
explain? Can I explain what this is for people that don't know what you're talking about?
go ahead.
All right. So when Shuri became Black Panther was in Volume 4 of the series. That series begins with Shuri in Wakanda. Storm and T'Challa have been married at this point. T'Challa flies in his jet and into Wakanda, and the plane crashes with his Dora Milaje. T'Challa is horribly burned and injured to the point of near death.
Right.
They stick him in the equivalent of if you're familiar with Star Wars, a Bacta tank, a stasis chamber type thing to keep him alive. And they're trying to figure out, well, what happened? Last we knew, he flew out to hang out with Namor, and well, he went from visiting Namor to being wrecked. Over the course of that run, the Volume 4 run, is them trying to figure out what happened to T'Challa. T'Challa, when he recovers, is very tight-lipped as to what happened. He doesn't want to talk about it because his ego has been bruised, because ultimately it's determined that Dr. Doom ambushed him and took him and Dora Milaje out. And he's lost to bring him back. It's a very long, involved story. I don't want to get into everything, but to bring him back, Storm had to go into the spirit realm to bring T'Challa back. In doing so, he lost all his Black Panther powers. So he had to come up with a new way to combat Dr. Doom that wasn't simply science-based. He created his own fighting style called shadow fighting, which was a mixture of sorcery and science. He in essence developed his own martial art. That's how brilliant T'Challa is. When Phil talks about, I want, the real T'Challa to show up in the films, the dude who makes up his own fighting style to beat you, that's the real T'Challa, who uses both his intelligence and his skills to find a way to defeat you.
Say that one more time. To find a way, because I'm gonna be real brief. I want you to
Right.
get back to that point. The whole find a way. The dope thing about T'Challa as a kid coming up was that he didn't always win.
Right.
Now this new T'Challa from the last 10 years, this dude can arm wrestle the Hulk and beat him in 2 seconds.
He's
Which there
Batman.
is, he's literally he's Batman without being Batman. But I'm gonna let you go back. I mean, it's just for me, you to see a character struggle and overcome a struggle is a lesson, and that is that I think we kind of missed that when you look at the old Black Panther books. Even in the Avengers, he wasn't the strongest character. He wasn't this. He wasn't that. He wasn't always the smartest or always the richest, but he was able to overcome. And I think now we've gone to the point when we get to Black Panther, even every new character that comes out now has to be the best, and every box is checked off. The fastest, the strongest, the smartest, the hungriest. It doesn't matter. But I'm gonna let you
Derek,
go.
put up
Go
that
back to Doom
slide
War.
for volume 4 with Shuri from Black Panther. Because what to Phil on Philip's point, T'Challa begins her run, that volume 4 taking the L. Right. I mean, dude he went, fought, threw hands with Dr. Doom, and he lost badly. And a couple Dora Milaje died too. Like, he took on the 3 of them and took them out. Dr. Doom just wrecked him. And so he had to find a way to come back. Doom War is about him finally getting to the point where he feels ready to take on Doom, but also realizing that this was him taking out T'Challa was an opening strike in him taking over Wakanda, because he wanted Wakanda's vibranium. And so Doom, being who he is, doesn't just use brute force. He uses every method available to him. One of those methods is actually causing what Otis talked about, which is the subversive internal strife that Wakanda has, and having and sort of fanning the flames of internal strife to take over the country from within. Brilliant storyline. This is the storyline that should have been the basis for this film. And ultimately, when Shuri determines or finds out that Namor was involved with T'Challa in some way, and that's what led to him being taken out, she goes after Namor and fights Namor. So very intriguing storyline. The rumors are that Dr. Doom will show up at the end of this. I think this would have been the perfect storyline to do during the blip, because you could have not had T'Challa in it and had Shuri be the Black Panther. And you would not have had to kill T'Challa in the storyline to make sure Black
Panther. My thoughts about the Doom War book is there's a lot in the Doom War books that is also critical. There's a part where Anika who's going to be in the film. I think she's played by Michaela Coel. Anika's in the film. And in the Doom War book, Anika talks about this, and I'm going to just quote this. She says, history tells of men who have fought such odds, heroes whose names echo in the halls of ancestors. They fought as men and they died as men, but we are the Dora Milaje. We are the daughters of the 18 tribes of Wakanda. We are the teeth of the Panther God. And so up to this point, we only know about quote unquote 5. But now we see in Doom War, they reveal that it's 18. Right. And so you think about that, there's a whole lot of meat on that bone that they can go through. But like my earlier point about Shuri, since it's almost a foregone conclusion that Shuri's the Black Panther, I want to see that iteration of Shuri, because that iteration of Shuri is very violent, unapologetic. And I don't know if you can do that if you are in the middle of mourning, which is a conflict in and of itself of what we're actually going to get on screen. I want to hit on a point that Otis. Hold on, real quick.
Okay.
I want to hit on a point that Otis talked about, which is talking about Wakanda. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, we're going to get a Wakanda story and not a Black Panther story. We're going to get a Shuri story, but not a Black Panther story.
Just like we did in the first movie.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that, with the exception of after this movie. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this is not, the problem in and of itself is not this movie. It's what they're going to do after this movie.
Right.
It's the real problem. Now, as far as the comics is concerned, I don't want to say that they're going to, I won't go all the way in like Paul said, and they're going to just kill him like they want to do in the Ridley run. Right now, T'Challa is still alive. He's trying to figure things out right now.
10 issues in. 10 issues in, still haven't figured it out.
Figure it
It's
out.
the most,
Figure it
it's
out,
the most,
bro. That's
it's
all
the
I.
most
I'm
coolest
I'm
T'Challa
40,
I've
I'm
ever seen.
49. I'm 49 and I still ain't figured it out.
You're 49. You
I
got
mean,
your
that's
stuff
life.
together far better than
That's
T'Challa
life.
does.
That's life.
That's
And
what
to
I'm
your
saying.
point, yeah. To your point, Paul. I mean, to your point, Phil. The T'Challa that we have today, he's pretty much invincible. And I'll be honest, I think that that's the problem that we have is that we have a T'Challa now that is bulletproof. And so now we see them taking this character that quote unquote is bulletproof and they have deconstructed him. That's what Ridley has done. Now, I'll be honest, I don't
That was
like it.
necessary though, bro. Come on,
I
man.
know, but hold on, Paul,
Like,
hold on.
no, that's
Let
not
me
Nah,
let
accurate.
it
me
what?
finish.
That's
No,
not
it
Let
accurate.
wasn't.
me
That's
finish,
It
not
was
bro.
accurate.
necessary.
That's not
It
Let me
was
accurate.
finish.
necessary.
Coach's run made him a slave. He made him a slave. He didn't have a suit.
And what
He
happened?
had he didn't have a suit. He had no technology. He had no
He was
Dora
a
Milaje. He had
he
no
was a slave.
trillions of dollars. He had
He
no
was a
army.
slave, and
He
then
was
he
a slave,
became
and he rose up.
emperor.
He rose up and became an emperor. Why?
Right.
With what? His wit and his hands.
Right.
That's what he did. That's the real T'Challa.
That's the real
Okay.
T'Challa.
That's a real deconstruction. This man
Okay.
meandering. I don't like. People don't like me. I don't feel right about myself. I'm so touchy feely, and my
He
girl
went that
has
bad.
left me, and my sister doesn't like me, and there's no reason for life.
I mean, listen,
That's not
Paul,
T'Challa, man.
Paul,
Yo,
you do know. So
Paul,
here,
have
This
you?
version guy of T'Challa is just
Mm.
weak as hell.
but here's the problem.
Yeah.
But here's the reality of that situation is that it is 2022. And we have to understand something. We live in a world now where everybody's feelings matter. If you believe you're a tree, you're a tree. So guess what? T'Challa can be depressed. He can be hurt. He doesn't know what to do. Listen, they made Thor fat in Endgame because he was depressed. This is a person that's been alive for over 2,000 years. So what has
Yeah.
happened in Infinity Wars was like 2 seconds to him. So he went. So the God of Thunder decides, I'm just going to eat and get fat. You've been eating dinosaurs and all type of crazy shit in Asgard. You're not going to get fat and on Earth. It's ridiculous. So we live in a time now where we have to be. Oh, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. They could cancel me, man. I don't care. We have to be ultra sensitive about everything. So we're dealing with men. And listen, there's nothing wrong with telling stories about mental health because guess what? If T'Challa can be going through being depressed, then you can get through it too. So
That's what I'm saying.
this is where we're at. So regardless, now I may feel a certain way about like why is he like this, but you have to understand who they're making these books for now. Listen, boy, y'all gonna make me start saying some stuff. Now I'm trying not to do this today, but I'm gonna tell you this is the world that we live in.
Yeah.
This is the world that we live in. I mean, come on now, let's just keep it 100. This is where we're at. Batman is just, he's unsure of himself and he's a billionaire. That's not real life, cuz. You're fine. You're fine. You could go cry in the bins and you'll be all right. It's real life here. But I'll say this though. The one thing I will say though, I don't have an issue with T'Challa having issues and problems because he hasn't had them in so long. There
He
needs
just
to
had it
be
in Coach
this.
Run.
Let's listen what I'm saying. He'll do that, and then he'll pick up the gauntlet and he'll fight the Eternals, to the invaders, the Gunhawks, and he'll wipe everybody clean. So I mean, it's just this is the sensitive side of T'Challa, man. This is where we at, man. Light
I
sends
mean,
back.
look, I will say this. I will say this. To me, Ridley's run. The reason why I have had a problem with Ridley's run is not the deconstruction of T'Challa. I just think that it's written terribly, in
Terrible.
my opinion. So
It makes no
it's not even
sense.
about it's not what he's doing to T'Challa. It's not cohesive. We still don't know who the big bad is. I know we got this thought about the White Wolf being the big bad in this movie, but the White Wolf has not been in this run enough to where we can come to a complete conclusion that okay, this is the problem that T'Challa's having. Also, hold on, let me finish.
Go, you're right.
Also, in Wakanda issue number 4, we're going to get we finally going to get a story on Tosin Aduye. All right, and Ridley's writing that book. We talked about it on the show last week, I want to say, and so that's Black Panther 3. It's first appearance of Black Panther 3. But in that story, we're getting a character that is almost an anti-hero, who looks like he's going to be in opposition to T'Challa. So what I'm saying, Paul, is if you think you don't like this now, stay tuned. Because T'Challa has not had someone that he can actually, that you can kind of compare him to or compare him with, other than quote unquote the White Wolf. But I'm talking about somebody that can really challenge him.
You mean
You know
like
what I'm saying?
Killmonger did in the Colts run?
Well, yeah, but I mean, here's the thing about Killmonger. I mean, the reason why I don't like his run is because it's disjointed. I think he's trying to take us somewhere, but it's disjointed. And so it's like, okay, he's not leaving us breadcrumbs to kind of follow. We're just kind of being led along.
The whole premise of Ridley's run is that T'Challa is in trouble for having the Hatut Zeraze, having a more advanced version of the Hatut Zeraze. He's in trouble for being a king who put secret agents in other countries in case stuff goes down. And he's called a tyrant for that. That's called being a king. That's called being a president. Name a country that doesn't have spies in other people's countries. That's being proactive. And that's what he's in trouble for? The storyline makes no sense.
Well, here's the thing about that, though. But what is about the premise of Wakanda that's supposed to be the quote unquote? We don't get involved when other people's affairs.
Wakanda, no, that's right. They don't get involved in other people's affairs. It doesn't make them stupid. Repeatedly throughout all the comic books, the Wakanda's always had people in other countries to spy on what's going on. Wakanda's best defense is a good offense. That's been their philosophy repeatedly in comic books. Repeatedly.
Well, all I know is that come November, all of us are going to see. All of us are going to see Wakanda flood. All of us going to see Wakanda flood. So stay tuned for that. But again, guys.
Well, real quick, let me say this before I lose my thoughts, because I'm getting old. When we were talking about what we wanted to see, I don't want the one thing that I want to see. I just want to bring this back full circle. There's a couple of things I want to see, not necessarily from the comics, but just in general. Can I say that, or do I need to stick with this?
Go ahead. No, that's fine. Okay, go ahead.
I think that the Avengers should show up to the funeral. There's no reason not to, because they all came to Tony Stark's. It's not going to happen. But there's no reason for the Avengers to show up to the funeral. If nobody else, the Winter Soldier should be at the funeral. And you cannot come up with a reason for that not to happen. That doesn't make sense. True. There's no reason. So that I hope that is something that they put in there. I want to see Submariner flood Wakanda, which I'm sure we're going to see.
Although if they do the blip theory, then Bucky can't be there because he got blipped too.
Right, but Shuri can't either.
Well, assuming they say Shuri blipped.
Well, that's what she came back with Doctor Strange. But on another note, the one thing that I want to see: Submariner being Submariner, Avengers at the funeral. But this should lead into Secret Wars. I want to see Doctor Strange somehow bring T'Challa back because of the incursion where he left from wherever. To tie this all in, because we cannot act like T'Challa does not play a big part in Secret Wars. So does Doctor Strange. But that's part of my theory. But I'm thinking that's how we bring him back. There's going to be the Secret Wars connection to bring him back. That's what I'm thinking.
You jumping ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got excited.
You jumping ahead.
I got excited. I get excited sometimes.
No. I mean, that's that. What you just said right there is the only reason why I haven't lost my whole mind. And I'm just going to say this now. I'm just going to let it out. One of the leaks that's been out there for months now is that their version, and this is what gets me upset about the recast of T'Challa, and I'm reading these comments. People are like, well, they're going to recast him at some point. You're not entirely right. I'll put it to you that way. Because people are acting like well, Paul doesn't care about. He just wants to. He's mad because they didn't recast T'Challa in this movie. No, it's not. It's not about that. As I said, if they do Doom War, he doesn't have to be in the movie. What I'm mad about is how they're handling T'Challa's future.
Right.
T'Challa's future is that he's not going to have a future. He's going to be killed, and they're going to have a T'Challa Jr. Right? That's the rumor. That's the rumor. That Nakia's going to have, is going to be knocked up by T'Challa, I guess, off screen. And she's going to be pregnant and is going to have his bastard child. Right? You're going to have the unwed fatherless child whose daddy died storyline trope for T'Challa Jr. And that's going to be the new Black Panther and who they're going to call T'Challa. That's what I have problems with. That's not recasting T'Challa. That's inventing an entirely new character and calling him T'Challa. I have serious issues with that on multiple levels. And
I'm
I think it's
hoping
necessary to do that. Now, with that being said, what Phil said with the Secret Wars, I agree with. I think that even if they do this storyline with T'Challa Jr., Secret Wars can fix that, because Secret Wars is a reset to the entire MCU. And you will have a new T'Challa and a new Wakanda and a new Shuri. You'll have an entire new cast across the board if they want to, when they reset the universe with Secret Wars. And
Well,
that's how
I don't think it's going to be a reset, though. I think it'll be more of a, when you read the books, it's a combining of the different universes. In this way, you could bring in the X-Men. You could bring in maybe
right. You can bring in the X-Men, but you also bring in a T'Challa from another world.
That's what I'm saying.
And combine it in. That's what I mean.
Listen. I know, guys. You guys are putting a lot of stock in. I heard a lot of comic heads put a lot of stock in. You guys playing with house money. Y'all go. You guys are playing with house money. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead with that. Because, and here's the reason why I'm saying this. Is because, number one, what's the timeline for Secret Wars? I might be 60, but 65 by the time it comes out.
Yeah.
So again, to Otis's point about T'Challa coming back, he didn't lie, Paul. He's coming back, but you might be 10 years older, but he's coming back. And again, look, none of us kind of really like what Marvel is doing. They are challenging a fanatical cult base. Black Panther fans are very cultish, very passionate, very fanatical. They are challenging us because, and the only thing we have to compare it to is what happened with Christopher Reeve when he played Superman.
Right.
But by the time he was done playing Superman, he had already done 3 movies. So T'Challa, we only have seen him in screen in 2 movies, Captain America Civil War and the first Black Panther movie. So we're in our feels about all of this. I get it. I understand it. I just don't think that Marvel is somewhere with a conspiracy to like eliminate this character. I think Marvel is showing us their hand. They're not interested.
Their hand is not very good.
Hold on, but it is what it is. I mean, bro, look here.
Nah, man, it's not. It is what it is, man. That's
no. You can't tell me. Hold on. They are in uncharted waters with where they are. They don't really have an idea.
Are they? William Hurt died. They recasted him. That's not uncharted waters, bro.
We just said that.
They recasted Thunderbolt Ross with a quickness within 4 months. Come on, man.
We just said Phase 4 has been trash. Okay, you're not going to fix Phase 4. You're not going to fix Phase 4 with this movie. You're not going to fix Phase 4. You're not going to fix Phase 5. I'll say this. Y'all better get used to not seeing T'Challa or Shuri or any Black Panther stuff on screen for a while. It is what it is. To Otis's point, we're getting these books and we're getting these remakes of these new volumes of old Black Panther stories for a reason, because we're going to have to be held over for a while. It is called the multiverse.
Derek has some poll results to show us. Derek, why don't you show us these poll results?
Yeah, why are you going to tell us something we already know? A broke clock is right twice a day. What you talking about?
Hey man, y'all two are hilarious. So
Where you go show it?
So I think with people watching this, I know some people are watching this like, man, these brothers are tripping. But I think it's the fact that we're so passionate about the character. This is our character. This is somebody that we all love. We love this particular character. We try to buy everything this particular character is in, and it's just we
We're
have such
invested.
strong and we're invested, and we have strong opinions, and we don't all have the same opinion. But
Right.
the fact that we're able to, I think it's good to see us debate these particular issues on our own particular merits. And it's just, it's a touchy subject. And it's not even a nerdy subject. It's just, there's so many layers to this character and just where it's at right now. And it's, for me, like I said before, I was just upset that he's not recast. I'm not going to change my view on that, but I'm still so invested that there's no way I'm not seeing the movie on opening day. There's no way I wasn't buying my tickets right away. And when I leave the movie, I want to leave the movie and I want to say, man, that was great. You know what? I got this heavy burden off my shoulders, man. I want to leave out there with that. But what I'm seeing from the initial people leaving, it seems like everybody's actual opinion is there's so much conflict in the opinion. Like in the end, like nobody's actually giving their opinion, but everybody keeps saying almost to the point where I don't know how to feel after I got done seeing it. I this, I that, or whatever. Like I'm not getting a man. This was you understand what I'm saying? Like
No,
I've
exactly.
watched them, and and I think sometimes too, conflict is good. Now I will say this: if leaving the theater leads to more conversation, then that's great, and they've done their job. As long as it's a great film, and I think that's a good way to move forward. Because I don't have to necessarily agree with the film for the film to be good. Like I could watch it and be, man, that was great. I may leave that and say, you know what? This is not what I wanted, but this may be what I needed at this particular point.
What
But
do you think? What do you think about what Zell just said here, Phil, on the screen? It says Ostercraft, too many young black kids like myself growing up. We always took Black Panther as Batman's and Captain America's equal, mainly because we had no one else at the time.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him being Batman and Captain America's equal. What's wrong with that? Batman could beat a dinosaur with his bare hands, depending on who's writing him. The same with Cap. And all that we had no one else at the time that's a ridiculous statement because you got Blade, you got Luke Cage. I can name you 20 characters off the top of my head that's been in comics from the 70s. But a lot of people don't know because reading comics isn't as prominent as it was when you were getting it off the shelves in the 70s,
Right.
in the 80s. When video games came around, of course, that took over because it's more interactive. I'm not mad at that. I understand that. But those characters have been around. You just have to go and, seek them out.
Look at this poll.
Absolutely.
Look at this poll Dr. Wizard just put up here. Do you like the Ridley run of Black Panther? 40% say yeah. Who is this 40%?
Right
and why
here.
is Otis the leader of these people?
The
I
Ridley
am
run was
one of the
good, though.
40%.
I don't think it was a bad run. If it was any, it was
I
an
am one
interesting
of the
run.
40%.
Trash.
I
Absolute
want the
trash.
40. Okay,
Nobody's
okay,
on
well,
the fence though.
Since we here, let's do it.
Oh,
Ridley's
no.
run.
Let
Ridley's run. Okay, I'm
Go ahead,
gonna give you my pros. You know what I'm saying? What I dug about it, and I'm gonna jump back and forth because that's how I get down sometimes. We'll talk about the latest two issues. Number was it 9 and 10? I believe.
Come on now.
Or eight or nine, one or the other. No, 9 and 10. Excuse me. First appearance of Buffalo
the
Soldier.
Negro feline. Yeah, let's talk about
Yeah. The Buffalo Soldier. I'll get to that line. I'm gonna get to that line. But the joint with the Buffalo Soldier. Now, those are two issues. Now, when it comes to comics in like continuity. Do you remember back in the day you would read a book, you would get the introduction to a villain, and he caused damage throughout that issue, and then the next issue, the hero figures out a way to beat that villain. 2 issues, quick, whatever. They might, add a few things here and there for future, whatever. That's what we got with 9 and 10. And that's what I appreciated, because it was like we got an introduction to a new villain, and it's obvious this villain's going to be around for a little while. And then we also got an introduction to the Buffalo Soldier. Are we allowed to talk about that situation, or are we not? We gonna stick to
we here. You can talk about it, bro. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I don't know how deep you want to go with the Buffalo Soldier, but Buffalo Soldier, I personally feel like, yeah, there you go. Yeah. You lucky.
Phil, how the hell did you get that?
You lucky I ain't home. But yeah, that's right, Phil. That's what's up.
I should have put my black gloves on for that one, Playboy.
Yeah, that's what you should have put it on your black gloves. That was the only violation. But other than that,
Phil hold it out on the brothers, man. Phil hold it out on the brothers, because I know you ain't shown nobody that yet.
That's it.
There's
So
a
now,
video coming to that in a little bit.
The reason why the Buffalo Soldier, not the what is it? The other guy with the little puppet or whatever. He's going to be around for a little while. But
the colonizer.
The colonizer. Yeah, dumbass name. But anyway, but
it's a dumbass run by.
Oh no, not yet. Hold on now.
Paul, let him finish. Stop interrupting.
All right.
Come on.
Buffalo Soldier. Okay, new black character. New original black character. We say original, but there hasn't been a Buffalo Soldier in Marvel Comics. But there has been a black cowboy, several. Reno Jones.
Yes.
Okay? So now we the professor, Rico Jones, which is kind of, mentioned a long time ago. I will give Rico his credit. Long time ago when and I believe Phil was in there too with that conversation, and they were talking about the different phases that Marvel was going to go through. The next phase was horror, which was introduced in Doctor Strange, because that took and then you had Moon Knight, unless Moon Knight came out before then. Now you have Werewolf by Night. Brother Voodoo's coming. Yes, I said it. We all know that. But after horror, it's going to be Westerns. Now, that is something that was mentioned a long time ago. So now you think about it, how many Western characters do they actually have? Not a whole lot. They do, but they're going to have to bring them out. Reno Jones is definitely going to be at the top. Buffalo Soldier, if I remember correctly, there was a solicitation to a Black Panther cover, and Buffalo Soldier was actually standing behind him, which means he's going to be around for a little while. Which means that piece that Phil just showed is not only super dope, but that is like the introduction, the very first image of this character that I think is going to be part of the future of the MCU, part of the future of
hold that up
the
again,
comics.
Phil. Hold that up again.
Oh, you mean
part of the future of the comics?
I'm so jealous of this brother right now.
Look at that. That's
How
beautiful.
did you even get it? Just came out. How did you even get that?
That's beautiful.
You gotta be quicker than that, dog.
That's right. But what I'm saying with the Ridley run, okay. Yes, we haven't found out who the big bad is, but if you think back to Coates' run, you didn't find out who the person who was in charge of everything until, like, I want to say, what was it? I don't know what issue it was, when it was the young lady from New York, the young Wakanda from New York, Asura, I think that was her name. She wore a mask. She was floating in the air on one of the covers. Point I'm trying to make is, you didn't know who was in charge of the first 2 villains from Coates and Steel Freeze's run until later on. It takes a little while, and some people might be bored with it, but to me, it just, like you said, deconstruction of T'Challa. A few minutes ago, he can hand wrestle Galactus. Now he's on the side of the mountain, taped up, with no woman. His sister don't trust him, and he doesn't know what to do. He went from being a slave to an emperor, and that took like 2.5 years. So now he's the emperor. Now what's there left to do? You have to bring him down a notch. You have to sideline him, so to speak, for a minute, because he's always found a way to come back. So what I'm saying is the reason why I dig the run is because you are watching this man get dismantled. And I can understand that you don't like what you're seeing, but like Phil said earlier about where we are. The reason why I dig T'Challa in all phases, and particularly this one, is because I sympathize with him, because I have been where he is right now. And
See, here it come.
I'm
Preach,
talking
oh.
recently. I'm talking recently. Some of you know of my health issues that I've had. All right. So when I was talking about Marauders 13, I shared with you that was me in that issue. What he did, how he did it, how he ended up like, she beat up his sister, and he's like, here, well, I would have gave it to you anyway. When she was sitting on the side of the mountain with him on I think it was number 9 or whatever, and she was just like, I can't deal with you no more. I'll be there for you, but I can't rock with you no more. And he's left sitting there, not knowing what to do, all alone. You got to think about it. This cat has been groomed to be a king. This cat has been through ups, downs, near-death experiences, backstabbing, all of that. It takes its toll. He doesn't trust anybody.
Preach.
He's one of the most not neurotic, but he just doesn't trust anybody. I can't think of the word. Sorry. Paranoid.
That's the
Thank
word
you.
they used in the book.
Yeah, paranoid. Right. He is. He doesn't trust anyone. He holds secrets from everybody. You think that eventually doesn't catch up? People start looking at you sideways. It's he's by himself because he made that problem. So now he has to figure out a way to beat that, which is what he does, which is why I don't mind seeing him at the bottom right now, because when he makes his comeback, and Marvel wants to make that new Black Panther issue #1 reboot, blah, 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 the original T'Challa comes back to take back his throne from the person who has it now, whether it's Tosin or the new Killmonger or Shuri or anybody else that they put in that spot. When he comes back to take his place as king/emperor or vice versa, all of y'all are going to buy that book. Every last one of you are going to buy that book and say, that's my king. That's the T'Challa that I want. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. You gotta take the good with the bad, or the bad with the good.
Preach.
You have to. You can't be a fair weather T'Challa fan. You can't do it. And I'm not saying I'm not disrespecting anyone. I know that y'all are passionate. I know y'all. I am too. And I'm telling you from my side of it. The reason why I've always loved T'Challa. Now, you notice I keep saying T'Challa, not Black Panther. I keep saying T'Challa because he's the important one. And that's why I understand about the recast and how important it is for him to be. He's coming. He's coming. I call it right now, BP3. That's what they're going to call it. Big black and purple letters, BP3. And when BP3 comes out, eventually, that is when you are going to see full-fledged new T'Challa. However they're going to do it. I mean, I've heard 1,000,001 times you gentlemen say, "In Feige we trust." I've heard you say that. I mean, and you'll say, like, whoever will trash whatever he's doing, and they're like, well, in Feige we trust. You said that. So why are you not trusting him now? And when you want to come to the writing and the stories and the comics, they're trying to correlate things that go on in comics to do with the movies. Not a big fan of that, but that's just how it goes. And bottom line is, we're all grown men. They've gotten our money from the time we were children up until now. Now they want our children's money. So they're not gearing stuff towards us. To Phil's point about the world we live in, that's what they're doing. They're making books for the world we live in. So when we look at T'Challa and you see him on the side of the mountain, like, what am I supposed to do now? I'm all alone. I've been there, and I get it. I know exactly how he feels. I get that. So that's why I'm like, just relax. He gonna be okay. You hate what's happening to him now because you don't like seeing that happening to someone that you love, and also you take it personal because you see yourself in T'Challa. That's the reason why you like the character. I mean, I can't say that. I'm gonna say that's why I like the character. But most people, when they find that favorite character of theirs, they like that character because of the characteristics they find fascinating and they find similarities with them, or that's something that you want to be or aspire to be. So, I'm sorry for I'm a bit long winded when it
Now
comes
go
to,
ahead,
but
man. You
y'all, but
preaching.
y'all know how I am when it comes. I'm not
Right.
yelling and I'm not talking garbage. So I've toned it down a little bit. You know, um, but I'm just saying that, like, don't give up on him. These writers have no choice to do but what they're doing right now. And there's a reason for it. We may never find out why things are going the way they are. We may never find out, but best believe that that character made them too much money for them not to do something with it. And us as fans, we can protest, we can hashtag boycott, we can say we're not going to ever buy another book. We can do all that. That machine gonna keep rolling. That machine is going to
Mhm.
keep rolling, and we will be the bitter old men saying, "Get off my lawn!" And I'm just going to read my T'Challa jungle action from back in the 70s, and they're going to be like, "All right, cool, we going this way,"
Now,
and
oh,
we're going to
you,
make a movie, and we're going to make a movie about the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. I call it. It's going to happen, whether it be an animated series or somewhere up in space. Believe me, that rocket that took off in Secret Wars #9, you're gonna see that,
hey, what issue that
and
again?
that's going
What,
Secret Wars
what issue
number
that
nine,
again?
and that's the issue. And I have the original page there. But anyway,
Who's been talking about that comic book for
Mhm.
2-3 years now?
I know I have.
It's come.
We
Hey,
all have. We all have. We all have. We all have. So what I'm saying is, there's a future for the Black Panther. This movie is just a story in that future. It's a Wakanda story. It's a Wakanda story. And the one thing that Black Panther has always been is about Wakanda. You get to see the people and what's going on. So that's what I'm saying. I get being upset about it. I really do. But you got to know that they're not just going to get rid of him. Like, they're not going to just get rid of him and that's it. He's dead forever. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He's going to be the king of the dead. He's somehow going to get
oh,
resurrected. They might, bring that storyline into it. I mean,
what,
all that. I mean,
did you say? Did
there's
you say Did you say the king of the dead?
I damn sure did.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I said. That's what I said. And I'm
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 not
I'm
gonna pull
saying
nothing up. I'm not gonna pull
when
nothing up
he
since you said that. I feel like
Yeah.
you queuing me up to pull something, but go ahead.
I mean, maybe we on the same wavelength. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe I felt it and was like, well, alley oop. Maybe that's what's going on here.
Right.
But I'm just go ahead. Go no, go ahead.
I'm
I
gonna say
talk enough.
this. Let me say this first. First and foremost, I need for people to understand that the passion that people have for this character. And O's my brother, man. Even though I don't agree with all of his sentiments, I also agree with the overall statement of what he's saying. I don't like the way that they're doing it, but I'm hoping that Otis is right. Let me say that. I'm hoping that O is right because I'm hoping that they do bring T'Challa back. But I'm also to the point where when I look at this particular phase 4 has either been great or trash. And it's this is real. I know people sitting back like, man, these dudes they can't be talking about comics. They talking about real life stuff. I mean, this where we at. You know what I'm saying? And I just hope they don't fumble because the thing is that I think that we have so much faith in them and doing this the right way. But we've also seen movies where where people could fumble the ball. I just hope they don't fumble this ball. You know, it's like, you know, Jason Kidd giving you the alley oop and you don't dunk it and you just miss it. You go for the layup and it's like 1 second left and you got 3 seconds to get down there. You messing up, but that's
I
all.
think that I think they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna blow it. I think that it's not going to be what we want. I one of my favorite things about writers is this: give people what they want, but just not how they want it.
Fair enough.
We're gonna get what we want, but we're just not gonna get how
Fair
we
enough.
want it. So I think also that, to everybody's point, um, we have to be. we need we need more thick skin when it comes to these properties and things of that nature, because we take ownership of these characters and we they resonate with us. And at the end of the day, as much as we love Black Panther, that's a Marvel brand,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
we have to always bear that in mind. Um, and like I said, it's all about what happens after this movie. So what we're gonna do, guys, is we got to transition. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. We're gonna come back with our last segment, and that is what we don't want to see from the movies. And I'm pretty sure this will probably be about 30 seconds. So we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
It's important to support Black creators. I would suggest everyone, if you're going to the movies, make sure you purchase a ticket that says Black Adam on it. And don't just talk about it, be about it. Instead of complaining about, well, we don't see people that look like us in these superhero roles in these films. This is the most melanated superhero team in a big budget film ever made.
With the exception of Black Panther.
Yes, that was the most melanated superhero movie ever made. I'm talking about a team, like percentage-wise, because you could argue with the Marvel films, the Avengers had, you had War Machine, you had Falcon, you got Black Panther all on the same team, so to speak. But the percentage-wise, the majority of this particular team were Black people, and that's kind of cool to see. And he shattered some barriers. Dwayne Johnson did in taking the films out of DC's Justice League box, and that's a good thing for DC's future. I think it helps to prove to them, there's more you're capable of. You gotta step your game up, and I think that's a good thing. Before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to Austin Crafton, Frustrated Fan Sports Show, Fat Al the Collector, Azelle Ray, Renell Nell, you guys blowing up the chat, Chad Kinsler, James Thomas.
And shout to Azelle Ray. His comments about the Black superheroes and the Captain America and Batman. I didn't mean to. I wasn't making that a personal response to him. I understand where he was coming from. I was just trying to, make an example of what we were talking about, though. No, it wasn't ridiculous, brother. It's all good.
Yeah, you guys have been blowing up the chat. Just wanted to give you all a shout out. Thank you.
For sure.
And please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. If you like this video, you like what you're seeing, you want us to do more content like this, you got to let us know. So that's what's up. But anyway, gentlemen, we got to get to our last segment, and that's what we don't want to see in the movie. I don't expect the segment to be that long. I'll be honest.
It's important.
As for myself, I will say this. What I don't want to see in the movie is I don't want the mourning aspect of Chadwick Boseman or Black Panther. I don't want that to dominate this film too much. I don't want this to be a mourning movie. I mean, I know there's going to be mourning in it, but I don't need that. I don't need to see. Give me 10, 15 minutes of that, and then the rest of this has got to be action. If anything beyond that, you're going to be killing. You know, we just had a movie just come out. We just came back from commercial break talking about Black Adam, and that was an action film. I need this to be an action film. So what I don't need is a lot of moody, broody, crying and tearing my beer type stuff. This is supposed to be a Marvel film, which means we're supposed to get that work in. So what I don't want to see is I just don't want to see a dragging on of the loss. I recognize that it's going to be there. I recognize that we're going to get some film time in it. I just hope we don't get a lot of that in the movie. So, what do you guys thought?
What the people in the chat? If you people in the chat, tell us what you would like to see in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever
What you
movie.
Don't want to see, Paul. What you don't want to see.
Oh, what you don't want to see. What you don't want to see.
Don't want to see. So, I mean, you guys have thoughts? I mean,
I don't want to see Shuri acting as what the first Black Panther should be.
Yeah, I don't want to see Killmonger back either, to be honest with you. I have zero interest in that.
He served his purpose.
I disagree.
Go ahead, talk about it.
I disagree.
Talk about it.
Rise of Black Panther.
I just gave that.
Wait. No, what was that, Paul?
Rise of the Black Panther.
Rise of the Black. I'm saying that.
Speak on it.
Thank you very much. Rise of the Black Panther. That if
talk about that book called Killmonger.
For those who don't know, you know what I'm saying. Killmonger. That miniseries is one of the best series ever written. I also own a few pages of original art from that too. I had to. That book, and I'll shout out to Brother Flood. That book made me buy a 9/8. Okay, both covers. You know what I'm saying? And I got inspired from him to do that. Like, that was one of the best miniseries ever written, in my opinion. Now, as for Killmonger coming back in the movie, for the movie, I don't want to see him not dominate the movie. But even if it's the Easter egg at the end, the credit scene or whatever, I personally would love, and I think that Shuri goes to the astral plane, and I've said this before, goes there, she's looking for her brother, and then he goes, "What's up, princess?" And and what would be dope is if, how the Panthers come off of the tree, if instead of a panther, it was like a leopard, like prey, you know what I'm saying, like a jaguar, a golden jaguar. That would be dope. But anyway, and I think that he should train her to be that ruthless person that she is in the books. I'm not saying that Okoye and them can't do it, but he has what it takes to make her the Shuri from the book. And also, wait, give me a second. And also having him come back, or better yet, end credit scene, you see him on the resurrection altar, right? That would open up with a woman standing over him who could be Madam Slay. That's a whole other situation. Anyway,
we talk about this. We talk about this, Otis.
Oh yeah, we're talking about that. We're talking about that. See, look, see Phil, alley-oop. There we go. Okay, you see the resurrection altar. Now that resurrection altar could have Killmonger's body on it. He doesn't necessarily have to come back. Like, I think that he's going to be in astral plane and he's going to talk to Shuri, but seeing his physical body on the resurrection altar, that opens up so much. I mean, he can open up his eyes and you can see that he's still alive, and then it goes to credits. But that also means that whoever dies could get resurrected. And if T'Challa died and gets resurrected, he then can become the king of the dead because he's been there. They could bring in Ken Lashley's whole run about him being when Storm had to go get him. I mean, and just kind of twist it up a little bit where he's fighting for his life. So he comes back. This could be the resurrection altar and Killmonger, or Killmonger being resurrected, could be the segue to T'Challa possibly being resurrected. Do you know what I'm saying? That's my take on it. That's my take on it. So, there we go. That's it.
That's an interesting take.
That's good stuff.
That's the good stuff, and I agree with you. I think the necropolis is where you see that scene where they're all dressed in white doing the funeral thing. I agree. I do think that's the necropolis, and I think showing that aspect of Wakanda, which again, I mentioned this before with the jungle action run. There's a whole run where you talk about Wakanda's mysticism and sorcery and stuff like that. I mean, there's Wakanda's deep.
It is.
There's a lot of storylines.
Yeah. Oh, and quick before I forget.
Alone.
Before I forget, because I mentioned it in the chat, I want to see Bast. She made a cameo appearance in Thor, the Thor, right? She didn't really do too much, but they showed her. So it would be perfect, or it would make sense for her to show up in this movie. She got to show up. And what I would love is if she appeared as the giant panther and then kind of, morphed down into who she is.
Axis.
Right. I think, or vice versa. But I think I would love, I want to see Shuri face to face, just like that Ken Lashley cover. I want to see Shuri face to face with that giant panther, whether it be white, black, whatever. But I want to see her face to face, and then, like you said, morph down. I think that would be dope. But I had to mention Bast because it would make no sense for them not to put Bast in this movie when she was just in Thor. You know what I'm saying? It would make no sense.
I got a question. Well, question and a statement, actually. Because the Black Panther lore is extensive, and because Marvel has this thing where they're trying to connect every doggone thing, I would like to see, I know this is what we don't want to see, but I would like them to do something completely disconnected. The fact that they're trying to connect these dots. Well, it's got to lead to this. It's got to lead to that. It's got to lead. Just tell a story. Just tell a story, because to your point, like, to have Bast in a story, right? I mean, let Black Panther films stand on their own.
But that's part of the story, though, Rich.
I mean, but no, everything that is in Black Panther does not have to connect to everything that's going on in the Marvel MCU. It does not have to. We just saw a Werewolf by Night special that they did. It's not connected to anything. Nobody's rushing.
You are sadly mistaken. That is connected to Midnight Suns is coming. What are you talking about? Now you talk about reading the comics. That's connected to Blade, Man Thing, boy.
No, I'm standalone films. Why does everything have to try to connect to something else? That's what I'm getting at.
Because it's the MCU.
That is what makes Marvel. That's what makes Marvel able to stand where DC's fumbling. Go ahead.
Isn't that really our angst?
No,
absolutely not.
It is absolutely not.
I love you though, brother. But
T'Challa being dead has nothing to do with the connective tissue of the MCU.
No, it has to do with 50 years of stories not being told because T'Challa's dead. Right. It has nothing to do with being connected. You could do 50 years of stories in the MCU and not have it, and have it absolutely not connected to the rest of the MCU.
And I'm a tag team on this.
How many Black Panther people? How many people went to the theaters to go see Black Panther #1, and was like, you know what, man, this has got to connect to what's going on. Nobody cared. Most of the people that saw the movie are not Black Panther fans. They're fans of T'Challa. They're fans of Chadwick Boseman. So I'm just saying that what I'm getting at, Phil, is that because the lore is so extensive, you can't tell all of these stories that we're talking about in one setting.
For sure,
you literally need 3 or 4. You really need 3 or 4 movies or a series to tell these stories.
So, most of these characters get 3 or 4 movies.
Right. So let me
That's
say
the
this. So
whole.
here,
That's
so
the whole point. Is
so that
that
and you
we had
that's let me
D23. Has there been a Black Panther 3 announced? No. Has there
no.
been a Wakanda Forever television series announced? No. What's coming? Everyone's like, oh, recast. They're going to recast at some point. These characters going to be back. When? They've already given you the roster of films for the next 3 years. What's the next Wakanda project after this movie? I'll wait. Tell me.
And that's
It's
and
gonna be a
to
minute.
your point,
It's gonna be a minute.
It's going to be a minute. All right.
the
Hold on.
connective fiber, the connective
That's
fiber. Let me say this real quick, fellas. It's the connective fiber that has made the MCU what it is right now.
absolutely
When you go into watching one movie, you stay for the end credits to see what is the next connective piece.
correct.
That is the whole thing. Now, even if and this is the genius behind that, because even if the film that you just saw right now was bad, the end piece will sit there and set you up for something else. You say, you know what, but I got this to look forward to,
Right.
and that is the key. At the end of the day, that we've seen many movies or series say, man, yeah, this was just all right, but it's like, you know what, I know what's coming up next, so you know what, I'm waiting on this. It's all about the setup, and that is where Marvel wins, and that's where DC has issues. For instance, The Rock made it a point to have Henry Cavill back because the fans want to see him as Superman, to the point where he got rid of some of the DC brass went over their heads because he knows that the connective tissue fan service is what can make DC compete with Marvel. It's a simple formula that is fumbled too much. We're all about standalone stories. You can have a standalone story, but that standalone story still needs to have some type of consequence. There still needs to be some type of Easter egg that sit back and give the hardcore fans something to look forward to.
Right. Right. And then that goes back to the origins of comics, because comic books in their purest form back in the day were pulp fiction, right?
Right.
It was serialized. It was, even when they did radio shows with these same
For
characters, the
sure.
Phantom and stuff, it was, they ended on a cliffhanger and said, next week you'll see what's going to happen to this
Right.
character that's hanging off the ledge of a cliff or whatever. That's serialized storytelling. And having these end credit scenes which give you the Easter eggs for the next movie is the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of serializing these films. And that's what draws people in. That's what DC has been trying
So
to emulate.
with Wakanda Forever,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen the movie post credit scene.
Yeah.
Where's that going to take you? So
Where's
if you're
that
not
going
going to
to
see
take you to
if
seeing
that
Nakia's pregnant belly with T'Challa Jr. on the way?
so
We're gonna we're
so
gonna
by
see.
the time we see so by the time we
In
see
Doctor Doom.
the next Black Panther quote unquote show or movie, it'll be another 5 years or so. So we're talking
At least.
2028,
Wait, hold.
2029,
You're
maybe
making
even
assumptions.
2030.
I don't know that's going to happen. We had
Well, I mean,
D23 just last month, in which they announced all their properties for the next 3 years. Not only was Black Panther 3 not listed, but the Wakanda television show they talked about 2 years ago they're going to make is no longer on that slate. So when people are talking about, yeah, they're going to bring him back someday, okay. Do you see it coming
I
up?
got
yeah.
I got a point to make.
Say it, brother O.
They don't have to tell you nothing. Okay? They slate these movies that they slated and these TV shows, and it's not they didn't D23 was last month and they didn't tell us nothing. They don't have to tell you nothing. They could just come out of nowhere and surprise you with it. Just
If
because
I
they
own shares in Disney stock, they're supposed to
they
tell me.
they
I
you
need
know
to know where my money's going.
see now and this goes like kind of into what Phil was saying earlier, and just the world that we live in. Okay, and this is not directed at you, Paul, brother Paul. This is not directed at you. This is directed at all of us. They don't have to give us Easter eggs. They don't have to tell us every movie and TV show that they're making for the next 5 years. They've been doing that as a kind of like a service. Here, this is what you can look forward to. So you can look forward to watching it. But technically, they don't have to do any of that. They don't have that. That's one of the things, and I know I'm going to ruffle a few feathers with this one, and wouldn't be alive if I didn't. Um, you know, uh, this it's another reason why I've been kind of quiet. Another reason why I've been kind of quiet lately. I just sit back and I watch. We as fans, we know what we want, we know what we love, we know what we've been used to getting, and now we're not getting that, and now we're like, you know what? F this book. I don't like that, or this is stupid. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna boycott. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. None of these properties are any of y'all's. And what kind of gets under my skin is there's never, and I said this before, there's never been a time that we have had so much stuff in our world, the world that we have loved for since we were children, this variety of things to watch. There's so much stuff that I haven't even caught up. I haven't even watched Loki. Okay, I haven't even watched Loki yet.
We about to get rid of on this chat for saying that.
I haven't seen Shang-Chi. I haven't watched She-Hulk.
You haven't seen Shang-Chi?
I haven't watched She-Hulk. I haven't watched Werewolf by Night yet. I haven't watched there was another one. Hey, I'm gonna go deep. I ain't never watched Daredevil.
Oh my God!
So check this out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move forward. And,
No. Listen, hear me out. Just listen to what. There's a point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make, and then with the Star Wars stuff, like all the new Star Wars stuff, like
right.
The point I'm trying to make is we have been starving for a very long time. We were eating bologna.
You really starving.
Let me do. We have been eating fried bologna and eating the meat that was on the red rim. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all we had. We weren't complaining. We were happy with what we got. We now have a buffet, and we're saying, where's the shrimp at? What do you mean there's a bunch of steak, but there's no pork chops here? But we got all this food and y'all can't bring strawberries out. It's like we have a buffet of things to watch, read, consume, and we still complaining. We are complaining, and I understand that well, if it's not right and we don't like it, what did we do back in the days when something a movie or TV show was out or a book and we didn't like it? We talked about it and then we just kind of okay, and then we got the next one. Now we just keep going and going. I don't like the way this actress did this, and Megan Thee Stallion shouldn't be dropping to her knees on She-Hulk. That's stupid. And,
I ain't mind. I like that. I like that.
No. I'm speaking of what other people were saying. I didn't watch the show, but I saw that part. But I'm just saying the point I'm trying to make is it's like I understand we all have platforms and pages and we can discuss these things, right? But what I want people to not what I don't want you to lose sight of is that we are very, very blessed and fortunate to have this type of entertainment, this abundance of entertainment. And that is another reason why I don't do a whole lot of complaining when it comes to books or movies. I'm just going in and I'm going to enjoy it for what it is. If I don't really like a lot of it, I'll talk about it, but best believe I'm going to go buy the next issue of Black Panther. I'm subscribed to it. I got it subbed. So it's like we just take the good with the bad. You don't like something? Okay, cool. It'll get better. But this whole, well, they're not doing this, so T'Challa won't be around for the future, so I won't be a Black Panther fan anymore. Well, to me, you weren't a Black Panther fan because Black Panther has been through
running for office
stuff. Jack Kirby, listen, Jack the King Kirby, love his artwork, love his art style. He is the king. But those Mark said it on Friday. Those stories, they weren't, they were, you know what I'm saying? They were fantasy, right? But everybody got one. Everybody got the whole run, right? So that's what I'm just saying. I don't want to say we should be thankful for low hanging fruit. But I will say we should be happy that we have this amount of stuff to consume right now, because there was a time when we didn't.
Well,
And
let me say this though. Oh, I appreciate your opinion on this, but if it's trash, it's trash, cuz, and I'm gonna let them know it's whack. And I spend a lot of money. If I go in the movie and I go in with my 4 kids, girl, my homies, and I go in and it's whack, I'm not gonna be happy. I don't care how. I mean, and this is the person who edits film, does film, whatever. So I go in there and I base it on that merits. But like you said, now here, the good thing about this is this goes into when we talk about how people collect, and we sit back and say there's no real way to collect. You know, we always argue, well, you need to have this or you need to have this. This also goes into and how you consume these particular materials. I am a completist. I'm talking one of those people who I remember when the Captain America TV show came on CBS.
mm,
Some of y'all ain't old enough. I
mm,
remember watching that
With the see-through shield.
with the see-through shield on that
mm,
bike, and
Speak
that
on it,
shield was
Phil.
so slow. And let me tell you something. When I saw that, I was upset. I never looked at that like, oh, this is great. I'm sitting there like, man, you got to be kidding me. I
Why
remember
Captain
watching.
America got a plastic shield?
Why you got a shield? He's on a motorcycle, man, throwing things. So for me, when I see the new stuff, and I'll be very honest, I love the MCU. I'm kind of spoiled by it as well, but I'm also the type of person where I feel like it does need to correlate with the books. It doesn't have to be 100%. But if you're basing something off of something, the reason why you got this particular show is because you thought the books were good enough for a show. So you have to go back to the source material. You know, if somebody gives you the recipe on how to make something and I eat it and it don't taste as good as how it's supposed to be, I'm gonna ask you what's going on with the ingredients. You know what I'm
but you're
saying?
not
So
hungry though. But you're not
it's not,
hungry.
but it's not just about being hungry. It's about being satisfied at the end of the day. I could not be hungry, not like what I ate.
That's right.
But I also respect your opinion because you don't have to be a person to have watched everything or want to be a part of this or whatever. There's certain niches. It's like there's no correct way to collect. There's also no correct way to consume the particular material. But I'm the type of person I look forward to these shows when they come out. When me and my family we sit down and we watch them as a family. We critique them as a family. We go to the show like it's an event. Like when I say it's an event, I mean I go out, I buy shirts, clothes. I mean, look, hey, look, we about to go,
That's
and
cool.
if it's whack, it's whack. If you know, it's just a whole. It's something that we look forward to, and I think that's what the MCU has turned into. Like even when they make the announcements, when they got the slate and whatever, people look forward to that. It's an event. Like it's not just. It's to the point where it's not even so much we're just going to the movies. People are dressing up in all white to go see Black Panther. This has gone from just a movie for some, but it all depends on what you want and what you don't want. But I forgot to say I didn't get my part about what I didn't want in the Black Panther, so I think
Oh,
it's my time to do that real quick.
Go ahead, bro. Oh, he
I'm gonna
pulling.
recap. I'm gonna
He's
recap.
pacing.
I'm gonna recap with what I do want first. I want Submariner to be Submariner. I think the Avengers need to show up at the funeral, and I want T'Challa to be in the film. I don't think I'm getting any of those three, but I want to leave. I want to leave this film hoping that we come up with some type of solution to where T'Challa will be back. T'Challa to me is the Black Panther. There's I don't care who it is. At the end of the day, it's all about T'Challa. Just like Steve Rogers is Captain America. You can have U.S. Agent or whoever else, but at the end of the day, you want Steve Rogers. So
Black
for me,
Falcon.
I just want
Shout out to Black Falcon.
for me at the end of the day, I just want a great film. I have no problem with not getting the film that I want as long as it's a good film. But I just hope that they don't write themselves in a hole for something that they can't get out of, if that makes any sense. And I think phase four, with all the variants and the Kang stuff, has been a whole bunch of pigeonholing themselves to a point where we don't know where to go. And we've seen that in the Eternals, and we've seen that in a couple other things. And I feel like you see, Shang-Chi was very entertaining to me until it turned into Dragon Ball Z at the end. I'm like, what are we doing here? So, you know, I just, and like O said, I would love the biggest thing to me is that we're never going to see the Submariner T'Challa at this particular stage relationship. That's something that I would love to see, that love-hate relationship, but then them working together, So I don't know. I'm all over the place with it. I just want to see a good film
Mhm.
at the end of the day.
So let me share my
Um,
thoughts on what I don't want to see. Um, and I'm
Oh,
gonna take a
one
page
more
from
point.
what Phil.
I don't want this movie to be a 2.5 hour funeral. And I do not want them to blur the lines between T'Challa and Chadwick. I do not want him dying from some sickness. You know what would be a dope opening is if there was a big battle scene and I don't know, the Avengers bring him back like he's mortally wounded. We're trying to help him, or the Winter Soldier brings him back because he's able to come in there and they just couldn't help him. Like, give us something comic booky for that. We can sit back and say, okay, I'm all right with that. You know what I mean? Like,
That sounds an awful lot like Doom War.
you go to Doom War, you gonna bring Deadpool in?
Mm.
We can now.
He makes sense because he's the one that, if I'm correct, he's the one that hired. It's on the tip of my tongue. Let me stop. I don't want to give too much. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
And
So
Ryan
so
Reynolds has been
so
around.
I'm gonna reiterate what Phil said. I don't want a
Why
protracted
you
funeral
playing?
scene. What is that? What is
Stop,
wait?
stop. Why you playing, man? Why you
What is
playing?
that?
That's
Why you
that
playing?
that's T'Challa. Wait, that's T'Challa. Submariner. That's a whole King of the Dead situation in Secret Wars.
Oh,
Mm, mm,
y'all
mm,
killing me. Y'all killing me with these damn original art. I mean, that's just all
mm.
right. I'm gonna get off track. So I'm gonna reiterate what Phil said. I don't want a protracted funeral scene. I don't want them blurring the lines between Chadwick and T'Challa. Um, Although I suspect that's exactly what's going to happen, as if you're going by what the statements you've heard from the cast, that for them and the director, this was this movie in large part, particularly that scene, was a catharsis for them. Their way of sort of honoring him and dealing with their feelings and grief, which is understandable, but doing it in the film and mixing the two, I have some issues with. I have some issues with promoting a film where the promotion is come see, pay your $15 to watch an IMAX this man's funeral. That I have some issues with that. That being said, the number one thing that I don't want to see is that T'Challa is killed. Um, I don't think it's necessary to do that to make Shuri Black Panther. That's it. I have no problems with Shuri being Black Panther. I have
Right.
no problems with him not being in the film. I have no problems even with them not even recasting him for this film. I have problems with killing the Black Panther and just brushing it off as, well, we'll recast him at some other point with a variant, which I suspect is the route they're going to take.
Right.
Or we're going to replace him with T'Challa Jr., which there's absolutely no basis for in the comic books at all, but is also unnecessary and is not really T'Challa. Um, and then doing a trope with a fatherless kid whose daddy died and being raised by a single mom. That's just it goes against the grain of what I really suspect is about this character. But that being said, I started out with the very very beginning of this video saying that I am going to see the movie. I think it's silly to say I'm going to boycott the film. To support these characters, to support Wakanda, to support uh, these creators who made this film, which I suspect is still going to be a very entertaining film.
Right.
I'm excited to see an entertaining film. Absent T'Challa, the issues I've just mentioned, I'm excited to see a very entertaining film, and I have no doubt that they're going to put together a fine and entertaining film.
mhm.
Rich?
Well, for myself, I shared what I didn't want to see. Now I'm gonna be, I'm gonna take my a little time to kind of like express my thoughts. First of all, I'm probably not gonna see it
Take your
opening
time.
weekend. I'm probably not going to see it opening weekend, and that's for two reasons. One, I anticipate I'll be busy doing other things, and two, um, I'm just not enthused by all of it. At the end of the day, I will see the film. I'm looking forward to seeing the film, but I'm not excited about the film. I think that, and to Otis's point about our fandom, I did a rant a few weeks ago talking about this. About it's a hard thing that we can complain with so much available to us. And the truth is, it's not even so much that we invest a lot of money, we invest a lot of
Right.
time into these properties, into this fandom, and it always takes me back to Stephen King's story Misery, which is about a author who writes a book who happens to be finishing a novel, and he gets into a car wreck, or his car somehow crashes, and he runs into a fan, and this fan is taking care of him, and she begins to like ask him and talk to him about this story that he's writing. And so it becomes basically a torture fest when he writes something and she doesn't like it. And of course, he's handicapped, so he really can't go anywhere. But when he tries to leave, she tortures him by, breaking his ankles, all kind of stuff.
Classic.
And I think Stephen King was saying, in essence, that this is kind of the toxicity of fandom, of being so invested in stuff to where it won't be this extreme, but it can lead to having extremities like boycotting a movie, things of that nature. I mean, if that's what you think is important in 2022, then you need to get a life, bro. And again, what I'm saying, I want to be excited for this movie. I want to be, but I'm just not. And the reason being is because I think we're not getting what we should get. I think we're going to get a good film, and I don't think the film won't be terrible. I think the film's going to be excellent, but I'm just not looking forward to going to a film. I don't think I would look. I don't look. I don't think I would. I've never looked forward to going to anybody's funeral in my natural life,
Mm.
and I don't see the joy in going to a funeral in my geek life. So as I go, chances are I'm not going to do a reaction video or a show about it because I probably won't see the film. Like I said, it'll be a week or so before I see it after everybody. I want to kind of let the theaters clear out, and I want to kind of like just enjoy it. Because me sitting next to somebody crying and they popcorn is just not the lick for me. It's just not the lick. It's not what I'm gonna do. And I'm sure my brothers, my fellow comic heads, you guys will go out and enjoy it. You do, Paul, I'm pretty sure will do a show and things of that nature, and that's fine. But I will say this: that we're going to get the movie that we're going to get, and we're going to be happy with it, because the alternative is to read something else, go watch something else. We're not going to do that. We're going to watch this movie. It's just that we're not going to be happy about it to watch it. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you're going to spend up to $50, $60 to go see a movie when you add popcorn and drinks and tickets and all that. People like to spend a lot of money, and so this whole thought
I'm at
that
a couple hundred.
I'm not going to enjoy myself. I don't think that that's the issue. The issue is, and can we get past this thing about we need to do things? This is a hobby, y'all. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to buy the next hot book. We don't need to buy the next Grail. If we can have vetted, but at the same time, let each of us enjoy it. Whether we're a casual fan or whether we're hardcore fans. Because
can I mention
again,
something for these? Okay, go ahead.
I will
Sorry.
say that I will. You kind of messed me up. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. Our people in the chat, Azel Ray, Azure Beasts, Frustrated fan. They're all talking about a what if for this film, and that what if is this.
The whole scroll situation.
Bruh, come on, man. Ooh, man, come on, man. I did a whole post about this. Everybody was talking garbage about to me about doing it. Don't, please,
Oh,
don't
I
even.
you seem to have triggered Otis.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. Because you know what? I never got a chance to talk about that. I made a whole post. All right, I made a whole post, and I'm gonna keep it 100. I put it in Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever, and it was denied Black Comic Lords. And I talked to
What?
somebody about that. Yes, it
No,
was.
no, no, no.
I,
It wasn't. It
Yes,
wasn't denied in our space.
Yes, it was. Don't get me, please don't get me started. Because I was hot about it. And I didn't post for a little while because I was like, okay, well, fine. Y'all want to keep arguing about it? Black Adam is Egyptian. Go ahead and do it. I'm bringing content, but nobody wants it. That's cool. So I said I'm gonna keep my theories to myself. But if you go back and you say you type in Otis Scroll, I did a whole joint.
Hey,
Didn't get a
bro,
whole lot of.
I apologize if
Didn't get a
if
whole lot of
somebody
in it.
blocked
Yeah,
it. I didn't block it. I've done a
didn't
post
get.
on the exact same. I posted the exact same book
I know
in
that.
space.
I know that. But see, I posted that book. I posted the joint from the Secret Invasion when you see Wakanda, and this is like it was a revenge story where the
Right.
Skrulls took T'Challa. I mean, I broke it down. You know how I get. You know how I do. I broke it down, but it wasn't a whole lot of interaction, and I'm not complaining about that. That's fine. No, you don't have. No one has to agree with what I'm saying because I know that sometimes my theories are kind of out there. I mean, just like the intergalactic world of Wakanda. I mean, Empire of Wakanda. Most people didn't like that. But I'm telling you right now, when it's in the movies, because they're going to make them either a movie or a TV series about it, they're going to do that. When it happens, y'all are going to remember that Otis rode for that story from the beginning to the end. I know Brother Richard, me and him, we used to go back and forth when it came to coaches run on that one. And it was some of the best conversations I've ever had. You know what I'm saying? But seriously, T'Challa as a Skrull. That is a very serious possibility, whether it's in the movies or in the comics. That's a very very valid. The Secret Invasion is coming up. It'd be a perfect. That would be perfect.
Say it again. Oh, say it. You missed that part. Say what's coming up.
Well,
What's coming up?
Secret Invasion is
Okay.
coming up. It's
Okay.
coming up, and I said this before they even announced Secret Invasion. Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Secret Invasion is coming up. So I believe that we are in store for a bunch of surprises, a bunch of things that we didn't know. I'm even thinking that in the movie, the Shiri costume that you see, I expect to see Angela Bassett in one. I expect to see Nakia in one. I expect to see Okoye in one because I think that all four of them is about to get busy and fight in tandem. That's just my opinion. This is just what I think. That could happen, and if that happens, then there is no true Black Panther. Like they all protecting Wakanda because the king is no longer there for whatever reason. But back to the Skrull thing, it's highly likable that this is what's going on.
I
This
think
is
it's
what's happening.
bro. I think it's a logical storyline to do based
Me
on what
too.
they're doing. If they're going to kill T'Challa, having them actually kill a Skrull version of T'Challa, that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. Because they in Elektra was the one that they discovered was
Right.
a Skrull. That's what kicked off the whole joint. What if they discovered that T'Challa was a Skrull?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just can go that way, man.
And you could make it that T'Challa was a scroll for a while, and in
Yeah.
that way you have the whole at the end of Secret Invasion. So there's going to be a big reveal at the end. The big reveal either going to fall flat or it's going to be a moment where everybody goes, "Oh, this is crazy." There won't be no in between. There's not going to be any in between. So he's going with the scroll. My piece is I'm going with the incursion, but I think it's going to be one of the two. What's that, Nene? My daughter just came in here. And shout to my
if you go with what Otis says and they do the necropolis, right? And they're laying T'Challa to rest in the land of the kings of the dead. That's what necropolis is. That's where their kings are buried, right? and they look at and then you do an end credit scene in the necropolis with T'Challa's body, and all you see is his feet, and they pan up to his face, and it's the face of a Skrull. I mean, I'd be satisfied with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going with the incursion. I want the incursion.
Oh, the incursion's gonna happen. Come on, man. I mean, Secret Wars. Man, that's gonna reset. That's gonna give them the ability to reboot the entire MCU.
Man, remember how that crazy
ain't stupid.
The crazy part where you got T'Challa fighting Doom, then it turned into like a Black Panther with the eyeballs, and that was crazy, wasn't it? Yeah, that shit was crazy, wasn't it?
I need to see I need to see God Doom rip Thanos' spine out of his body. I need to see that.
I don't think Paul saw that. I don't think Paul saw that.
What is that?
I don't think Paul.
That's that Secret Wars right there.
Hold up. Let me make this.
Yeah, I don't think he saw that.
Yeah, that's the symbolism with the T'Challa and Dr. Doom when he finally,
Yeah.
Molecule Man.
How are y'all getting this? Can a brother be down? I mean,
Phil's showing out tonight.
Listen, it's real, man. I mean, let me tell you, I'm gonna say this real quick. Bye, Nene. I want to give a shout out to O, because O put me deep with the, he made me go out and buy black gloves because of, because of the artwork. He sits back here and he tries to give you this whole casual fan garbage that is really the fakest person ever. This dude right here, and don't get it wrong, this dude has some of the most important one-of-one art pieces.
What did Biggie Smalls says? Real bad boys move in silence. Otis don't say nothing.
Yeah, Otis don't. If you watch Otis, I would call him a watcher. He sit back and he just looks. He just sits back and he looks. But I'm gonna say this though about O. Me and O have linked up in the real world twice. We went out. I met him at the Wu-Tang show. We was out at New York Comic Con. Shout out to my girl Nell's in the comments. You know what I mean? And it's real life. The one thing about this, we sit back and say don't take this particular art form whatever seriously. It's created lifelong friends, and it's created people that you really do care about. Like I really do care about you cats. I think some of y'all crazy as all hell, but I love y'all regardless. But I think like it gives us black men something to be passionate about, and it gives us something to do where when the world is so crazy, we can sit back and we could talk about real life, our family, kids, whatever. Then we start talking about comics.
Yeah, real talk.
That's real. Yeah, that's real. And we talk about people having depression or outlets or things of that nature. We sit back. There's been many times me and we sat on the phone. Me and Rico sat on the phone, talked about things. There's been public beefs with individuals, and we worked it out like men. So this goes beyond pop culture and beyond comics. This is about developing relationships. You know what I mean? So I don't want to start preaching because we got the preacher already on here.
This is about 2.5 hours in, and we about to get out of here, y'all. We've had a wonderful time. Everybody, follow us at blackcomiclords.net. To our host, the OG Pauls, myself, Rich, to the Otis, Blackline, Arterberry, and DJ Big Phil. We'll see you guys next time. It is Wakanda Forever.
Real quick before we go, I want you to fold your arm, but remember what we are going to do though is after the movie's over, we're going to come back and then we're going to talk about. So you got to go see the show. You got to see the movie because you can't not be in this.
If you cash at me $50, I'll go. But if you ain't gonna do that,
$50 to see a movie though. What type of theater are you going to?
I need $11.50 for the ticket. I need $25 for my popcorn and my drink. And I'm gonna need an extra.
You being way too bushy right now. You need to drop yourself over to the supermarket, buy yourself your popcorn in a bag.
Well, we'll be arguing about this same stuff next week. And until next time, we love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. 2 fingers up.
Hide a can of soda in a bag with a bag of popcorn.
We out. Real talk is done. Good night. Love you.